welcome to this explainer. You're actually mostly microbe. Seriously. Today, we're diving straight into the wildly fascinating world of your gut microbiome. We're going to uncover a completely science-backed paradigm shift in how we think about and, more importantly, how we feed the trillions of tiny bugs that call our bodies home. So, let's get into it. For decades, right? Diet culture has been absolutely obsessed with restriction. Don't eat this, cut out that, avoid these entirely. But what if we've had it completely backwards this whole time? Today, we're totally challenging what you might know about strict diets. We're looking at a massive amount of clinical data to reveal a surprisingly simple, additive rule for optimal health. It's about what you add, not what you take away.
Section 1. Mapping the human microbiome.
Now, to actually figure out what a healthy gut looks like out in the wild, researchers didn't just run some tiny lab experiment. No, they went massive. They launched this monumental citizen science initiative called the American Gut Project. And by the time they published their foundational findings, they had collected and analyzed over 15,000 samples from more than 11,000 participants. I mean, that is just a staggering scale of data. And the geographical reach here, totally unprecedented. They crowdsourced data from literally all over the globe. Sure, it was heavily represented by the US, the UK, and Australia, but they also pulled samples from 42 other countries and territories. This gave scientists an absolute front-row seat to human microbial diversity across all sorts of different lifestyles and environments.
Section 2. Forget strict diet labels.
So, with this mountain of global data at their fingertips, researchers started looking for patterns. And when we talk about healthy eating, we almost always default to these strict categories. But it turns out those reductive dietary labels like vegan or omnivore actually have surprisingly little explanatory power when it comes to predicting how healthy and diverse your gut is. Actually, the researchers really hit the nail on the head here. Your gut, it doesn't care if you call yourself a vegan or a meat eater. The data clearly shows that what actually drives a healthy inner ecosystem is the sheer variety of unique plant species you eat. It's the diversity of the plants themselves, not the fancy label you put on your diet, that actually builds a resilient microbiome.
Section 3. The magic number 30.
Which brings us to a super actionable target that comes straight from all that global data. The magic threshold for significantly boosting your microbiome? It's 30. The science is telling us we should really be aiming to eat 30 different types of plants every single week to absolutely maximize that microbial diversity. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, does eating 30 different plants just give me a bunch of really happy bacteria? Or does this diversity actually translate into some deeper, full-body physiological defense mechanism? Well, it's the latter. Strikingly, people eating over 30 plants a week had significantly fewer antibiotic resistance genes in their gut microbiomes compared to folks eating 10 or fewer. We are talking about a major reduction in resistance to common antibiotics. Plus, a drop in these things called MFS transporters, which, if you don't know, basically act like microscopic little pumps that harmful bacteria use to literally spit out medicine. To put it simply, adding diverse plants actively equips your gut with a much safer, far more resilient shield. All right, Section 4, the Zoe biome experiment. So observing trends in a bunch of citizen data is one thing, right? But proving it in a highly controlled clinical environment is a whole different ballgame. And that is exactly what the Zoe biome study set out to do with a 6-week randomized controlled trial on 399 healthy adults in the UK. Researchers wanted to see exactly how targeted, high-diversity plant supplementation would actually change the body and the microbiome over just a short period of time. The setup was pretty straightforward. The intervention group got a specific blend of 30 whole foods, packed with plant polyphenols, fiber, micronutrients, and they ate that twice a day. Now, to make sure this was a totally fair fight, the control group ate the exact same number of calories, but they got theirs in the form of plain bread croutons. Yeah, croutons. So let's see who actually fared better. Section 5. 6 weeks to better health. The changes were honestly massive. In just a month and a half, the plant-eating group saw significant positive shifts in 132 different microbiome species. The crouton group, only 37. The really good, health-boosting microbes linked to strong cardiometabolic health, they absolutely thrived, while the less desirable ones were basically crowded out of the ecosystem. But it wasn't just happening on a microscopic level. Participants actually felt tangibly better in their day-to-day lives.
The intervention group reported an 18% increase in their energy levels, plus a 5% bump in overall happiness. Meanwhile, the control group, eating the croutons, they reported absolutely zero positive change. Some even felt a little worse. And as you'd probably expect, when you finally feed your gut exactly what it's craving, their physical digestion improved drastically too. The group adding those 30 plants saw a 14% drop in indigestion and a 12% drop in constipation. It's honestly a perfect example of how complex dietary fibers and polyphenols just smooth out the whole system.
Section 6. Feed your inner ecosystem. So how do we actually translate this success into our own daily lives? Well, the absolute beauty of this approach is how simple it is. I mean, in the clinical trial, adherence was an incredible 98.3%. Why? Because the whole strategy is built on an abundance mindset. You're just adding colorful whole foods into your life. You're not starving yourself, and you're not obsessing over some list of things you can't have. So, to sum the whole thing up, it is really time to ditch those strict reductive diet labels. Instead, aim for 30 diverse plants a week. If you can do that, the science is crystal clear. You can rapidly upgrade your microbiome, fortify your gut against antibiotic resistance, smooth out your digestion, and tangibly boost your daily energy and mood. It's a real game changer.
Your gut is literally an ecosystem, and it is just waiting for variety. So I'll leave you with this. How many different plants are you going to feed your inner universe this week? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I'll catch you next time.